My name is Bob Harveson, and I'm the Extension Plant Pathologist with the University of Nebraska at the Scottsbluff Research and Extension Center. And I wanted to describe some of the things that we're doing this year for the zebra chip project. One of these being the fact that Jeff and I are both new to potatoes. So one of the things that we did last year is went out talking with people in the industry to see what they felt were some of the issues in Nebraska that needed addressing. So after talking with them, we determined that there's a number of varieties that are grown in Nebraska that they really have no idea about the relationship that they have in terms of being susceptible to the psyllid or the zebra chip pathogen. So that's what we decided to do, is set up a study that included several different varieties, put in a randomized complete block type of design. But we also wanted to attract psyllids, or try to, using tomatoes. So we intercrop tomatoes between the blocks of the potatoes, hopefully serve as a trap crop to bring the psyllids in. Well, we had a number of different problems, a number of different issues this season, but to suffice it to say that we didn't see any zebra chip or psyllid problems, and so therefore we just felt like our goals were not accomplished this year. We did, however, get yields that would be consistent, the rankings would be consistent with what you would expect of these particular varieties in the absence of zebra chip problems. So I guess to make a long story short, we didn't achieve what we wanted to achieve, but yet the results would still be consistent with what we would expect of those varietal performances.
And I'm Jeff Bradshaw. I'm an extension entomologist at the same institution, work with Bob. So we collaborate on the same project that Bob was describing earlier. Some additional things that I've been engaged in have included working with John Goolsby's survey across the Great Plains, basically, for the psyllid to track their movement and to look for hot psyllids or Liberbacter carrying psyllids. So I've been participating in that. And at this meeting, I'm also sharing some of last year's data that I collected from my tower traps, just showing some of the aphids that we collected from last year. We collected 51 species of aphid last year on the tower traps. And what this tells us is a little bit about the flight layer, a little bit about the migration patterns for the insects that could be important in potatoes. So last year, our psyllid population started out pretty low. Then toward the end of the season, in August, late August, it peaked. And we had a similar trend this year with low populations, and then they kind of never peaked, though. So we're seeing similar patterns, and we need to capture those patterns, is my point, in some way. And related to that, we also had our own sticky cards set out in those plots that Bob was mentioning earlier with the tomatoes and potatoes. We found very few psyllids early in the year and basically none toward the end of the year. But one of my challenges is what are some hallmarks we can use with psyllid identification on sticky cards? Because sometimes the abdomen comes off, and we have some hallmarks that we use on the abdomen to identify them as potato psyllids. So that's one of the discussions I want to have with Don Henney, is can we develop a key that might be really handy to use for sort of key characters and hallmarks we can use to confirm that we have a potato psyllid or some other psyllid. And then another project that I'm starting up now going into next year is hopefully developing a smartphone type of app that we can use in the field for scouts. One of the things that John Goolsby had mentioned today in his talk at the meeting is the importance of scouting and determining whether or not you have large potato psyllid nymphs in your potato field. So one question I have is, can we work with crop scouts, provide them a tool that they can use in the field to, say, pick a leaf, determine if there's any potato psyllids on those leaves, and mark that on their smartphone on an app, which they may not have cell reception where they're at, because I've been to a lot of potato fields that don't have good cell reception, but the nice thing about an app is it can store those data until you do have cell reception. And then we can have that data transmitted to the website maybe even the SCRI website, and maybe have a more real-time